Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yolanda, and on this channel we talk about true crime happening in South Africa and around the world while sipping on some bevy in life. And of course, Bev cannot go without a what? You understand? So before we go anywhere, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on your notification bell for any notifications on videos that will be uploaded in the future. So on today's video, we'll be talking about one of America's most well-known serial killers, and that is no other than Nikko Jenkins. And we know him to be whomst? The son the son of a prophet. Now before we get to that, we'll be sipping on some pine twisted today, and we'll be snacking on some chicken rikini. So yeah, so grab your drinks, grab your snacks, because today the story is going to what? Storm you. So Nikko Allen Jenkins. Nikko was born on the 16th of Hi. So Nikko Allen Jenkins was born on the 16th of September 1986 in Colorado, and his parents were Mr. David McGee and Miss Lori Jenkins. Now, Lori Jenkins was the great-granddaughter of Mr. Levi Levering. Now, if you don't know who Levi Levering is, Levi Levering was the chief and the tribal leader in Omaha, and he was also an advocate. And he was well known to be quite an advocate for violence. He was a mediator between his tribe and the American government. And unfortunately, as the years progressed, the family's good reputation took to an unsavory twist. That's the sound of victory. Investigations revealed patterns of violence, patterns of substance abuse, and child neglect in the family. And this behavior has escalated from generation to generation, making the Levering family to be one of the most notorious families within the region of Omaha. And a World Herald examination also revealed that 38 descendants of Mr. Levi Levering were convicted of 633 crimes. 633 crimes since 1979. And I'm sorry, but this is hectic. So all in all, this has given the Levering family and every other descendant the title of the family being habitual offense breakers. Now back to Nikko. Mr. Nikko Jenkins spent much of his life in prison, like most of his life. He first made his debut as a criminal as a 7-year-old who went to elementary school. Now, if you're in South Africa or anywhere around SADC, you would refer to elementary school as primary school. So Mr. Nikko Jenkins, little 7-year-old Nikko Jenkins made his debut into the criminal justice system by going to school with a .25 caliber handgun. Now, I don't know how hectic anything else can get. But imagine a 7-year-old going to school with a loaded gun. Like, where does that even happen anywhere around the world? Like, that's shocking. And at 11 years old, Nikko was moved from group home to group home, and he was basically being kicked out of these group homes because he was just violent. He was just a mess. He was a mess from a very early age. And investigations also revealed that Nikko was taken away from his mother between those ages because she couldn't take care of him, as she was also a criminal. So child support had to take the child, and that was just it. At 13, he had already committed multiple assaults, and he had also had a knife incident going on as well within that incident. In 2003, 15-year-old Nikko, 15-year-old Nikko Jenkins finally went to prison, and he was charged with 2 counts of armed carjackings. Well, carjackings. Yes, it was carjackings. And whilst he was in prison, 2 more charges were added on top. One charge was for causing a riot, and another charge was for allegedly attacking a prison warden. He served 10.5 years of his 21-year sentence and at a youth facility, and that was it. Mr. Nikko Jenkins seemed to have quite a difficult upbringing. I mean, he grew up in a family of violence, he grew up in a family of crime, and that later affected his upbringing, and it later affected him in so many ways, and he became accustomed to the crime at a young age. So it was his normal for him. I mean, in one report, his mother had also said that Nikko would witness her and Nikko's father fighting a lot, and I believe, in my opinion, that really affected his judgment as a child, and he grew up seeing that as normal. I mean, what child wouldn't take up an example from what his parents usually do around him? So it's really sad. So basically, Nikko grew up in prison. He spent most of his teenage years in prison, and at one point he was taken in for a psychiatric evaluation, and he told the psychiatrist that he had been taken in by another psychiatrist, and he told them of a family history of mental illness, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and other behavioral issues as well. So it's really sad. Now, the real gist. Before his release in July 30th of 2013, Mr. Nikko Jenkins requested that he not be released, if I put it in the right way. Isn't that kind of weird? He asked not to be released because he knew that he would commit the crimes again, but the justice system just, no, my man, you are going out, you're getting your freedom back. But that was a wrong decision. Now, would you say that the criminal justice system made a mistake in releasing Mr. Nikko Jenkins? Comment down below your thoughts and let me know what you think. Less than 2 weeks less than 2 weeks of his release, my guy was on again. Like he had started again. Like, hey. Oh, my head rub. It was on the 11th of August. And at about 5 a.m., a patrol officer was going around doing his thing. And then, chucks, 2 bodies. 2 bodies were found. That's the first body. And within this period, it was alleged that a welcome home party was hosted for Mr. Jenkins. Just after he got released, the welcome party was done. His family was there, his female friends were there, and his prison mate as well. And that is Mr. Curtis Bradford. He was at the party as well. Few days later, Mr. Curtis Bradford's body was also what? Found. I don't know how worse things can get. I mean, it's within a short time. I mean, reports show that Mr. Nikko Jenkins was on a roll, like he was for 2 weeks. So basically, he killed 2 people on the 11th, most probably within that time frame, and he killed Curtis, his friend. I mean, why kill your friend within that short space of time? Like, it doesn't make sense. Reports also say that 2 gunshots or gunshot wounds were found in Mr. Bradford's back, and during this time, police, they found no links to Nikko. I'm not laughing, but it doesn't make sense. It honestly doesn't make sense how it was not linked to him, because it was alleged that Nikko was one of the last people that were in contact with Mr. Curtis Bradford. So how could he not be part of the suspect list? It beats me. Other sources also reveal that Nikko's sister was the one who had shot the first bullet. And then Nikko got angry because he's a sicko. He wanted to be the one to kill Curtis. And he did what? Poof. He shot him again. Now, I don't know how crazy this whole thing is going. This is just, it's too much. Who kills their friend? That's your prison mate. I mean, your friend. So why kill? And it's also weird that Nikko was not a suspect in any of this, because reports revealed that 2 days before Curtis's body was found, he and Nikko had taken a picture holding these signs up. And whose signs are those? Our office. They were holding these signs, and the picture was posted on Facebook. And 2 days later, Curtis was dead. Suspicious. It's suspicious. It honestly is. And on August 21st, Nikko's fourth and final victim was found. Andrea Kruger's body was discovered at about 2 a.m. on the morning of 21 August, and it was found by an officer responding to a shots fired call. It was reported that Nikko, his uncle, Nikko, his uncle, and his two sisters were involved. Remember what we said in the beginning? Nikko comes from a family of habitual lawbreakers, habitual criminals. So obviously this is a family affair. They are bonding in their own kind of way if we give them justice for that. It was alleged that they were involved in the murder of Andrea Kruger. Apparently or allegedly, they wanted to rob Miss Kruger of her 2012 Chevrolet Transverse SUV. Then Nikko pulled her out of the car and 4 times, double sum of, shot her. What is the reason? Nobody knows. I mean, you already took her car, so why do you still need to kill her? And on top of that, he took the car and he drove off for about 19 kilometers just to leave the car in a nearby alley. That's hectic. So, Nikko was later arrested on an unrelated terroristic theft charge, and by then evidence against him was mounting. I mean, it's a 2-week reign, so evidence was gathering, evidence was piling up. So it was revealed that investigators had found a camera footage of, should I say, an accomplice, but this was a family associate, a female associate also, who had went to a gun store and purchased ammunition which was similar to the kind that was used in committing these killings. And another footage also revealed Andrea Kruger's vehicle moving up to where it was eventually found, that is in an abandoned. He was charged with 4 counts of murder following his confessions. Now, during this trial, the alleged, and I call him alleged, but I believe he regards himself as this, the alleged son of Apophis said that he wished to plead guilty. Wished to plead guilty on all 4 killings, and that he would protect Apophis's kingdom with animalistic, savage brutality. I don't know what that means, but all I know is he's sick. It is verkeerd so. On February 19th of 2014, Nikko filed this is storming me already. Nikko filed a federal lawsuit against the state of Nebraska for wrongfully releasing him from prison. demanded a sum of $24.5 million, not rands, dollars, just because the state of Nebraska they released him as if it was their fault, as if they are the ones who killed the people he killed. I know, like he claimed, or said rather, that he told them that he's been hearing voices, commandments from others to kill people, and the criminal justice system ignored him. He told them repeatedly, and he was ignored. That's why he's what? He's suing them. So now my question is, who's the criminal here? The criminal justice system, or the man who actually committed the crimes? Now, after his claims of mental illness, the judge ordered for a psychiatrist evaluation, and the psychiatrist found that Mr. Nikko only had antisocial personality disorder, and not bipolar, not schizophrenia, and that he was faking psychotic symptoms. That was a psychiatrist, not just manga business. The psychiatrist him said it out loud in court, just like that. It was said that Mr. Nikko had he cut, and my people, brace yourselves, he cut his penis. He cut his penis, and he cut it so that it can resemble that of a snake head. That's not all. He also carved a 666 into his forehead, but Gama 666 did not do Gama 666, they did Gama 999, so and he also cut his tongue to resemble that of a snake. Like, if that's not the definition of, then I don't know. It was said that he needed about 27 stitches for his daughter to be alright. Like, why are you cutting your dick? Like, what are you doing there down there? Like, oh, my people. So basically, all in all, he did this just to claim insanity, madness, because he wanted a more lenient sentence. Like, who does that? I mean, you can just appeal. Why do you have to cut your thing, your dingering? You don't have to do that. But he did. He did. He also claims that this self-harm was a clear indication of psychosis. Like, my brother, but you were in your right mind when you did this. I mean, you saw. So after being declared fit to stand trial, the judge allowed Mr. Nikko to represent himself, but only under the guidance of advisory attorneys. But people, I eat bones, so you'll forgive me. Now, throughout this trial, Mr. Nikko maintained that all the killings, his actions, were under the commandment of Apophis. And remember Apophis? That's the ancient Greek god. Hearing voices in his head, that was Apophis. Now, his courtroom antics, meaning his type of drama in court, was screaming, howling, "Oh! Oh!" Speaking in tongues, Kabaribe Baba, Shendereba ya Karaba Sita, Robobobo, Kabaribe Baba, fire! Like, sir, you're in coma, brother. You are in coma. He did this as the prosecutors recounted the details of his victims, victim after victim. Imagine prosecutors telling me, hey, you strangled, or for example, just for example's sake, as you were strangling Miss Banban. Like, who does that? Who does that? After a long wait, a long sweating, a long tears, a long storm, Mr. Nikko Jenkins, he was sentenced to death by a 3-judge panel, and it was the vibes. I mean, I can imagine the joy in court of the citizens of Nebraska, how they felt at that time that this person, he was going to die by lethal injection. And he was also sentenced to 450 years imprisonment for weapons charges relating to all 4 killings. And he's still on death row today. So that is it, my people. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the shindy you were drinking, the shindy you were eating. And please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to like and notification. Ring, ring. And till we meet